Hello, grade 9 learners! How are you doing these past few days? Let me hear your answers. It is good to hear that you're doing fine. I know that this school year has been a roller coaster ride, but hang in there. I know and I'm certain that you can do it. Just believe in yourself, have faith, and do the best that you can, and everything will be alright. I am Ma'am Laila, and I will be here to help and guide you in this new adventure where you can learn new concepts that you can use not only in school but also in real-life situations. Without further ado, let us proceed to our lesson for today. Bring out your module, your pen and paper, and let's get this adventure started. And be prepared for the gold stars that I'm going to give you when you're successful to the different learning activities that I have prepared for you. These are the objectives that will guide us as we go through our lesson for today. The first one, identify the ideas presented in the text. The second one, draw generalizations and conclusions about the material read. I've got a question for you guys. Why do you read? Why do we read? Why do I read? I read because I want to understand something. I read because I want to learn lessons from the texts that I am reading and be able to apply it to my real life. If you have the same reason, then our topic for today will be a great help in your reading experience. Because our lesson for today is about Quarter 2, Module 1, entitled Making Connections Between Texts on Particular Social Issues, Concerns, or Dispositions in Real Life. Now that you're buckled up, let us now test your prior knowledge regarding our topic for today. Let us now have an activity. It is called Pick a Word. For this activity, I have here a pool of words, and you're going to choose one word that best suits each statement that I'm going to flash. Don't worry, I'm going to give you 10 seconds each item. I'm going to read it and listen carefully. Is that understood? Marvelous! Let us now start.
Mayor, how did Sangguniang ng Kabataan came up with the idea of community pantry and providing an efficient alternative to help the kabataan ng bayan to cope with the new normal setup? Oops, time's up! The answer is public service. Did you see how everyone is losing their motivation in learning? We are too bombarded and exhausted with lots of modules, activities, and other requirements. It's exhausting. Oops, time's up! The answer is online learning. During the pandemic, we have to take care of ourselves and be mindful of what we eat. We have to strengthen our immune system to help us be protected from the virus. Uh-oh, time's up. The answer is health. As stated on the news report about the ECQ, we are prohibited to go out and only essential travels are allowed. One member per family is authorized to go out to buy necessities. Okay, time's up. The answer is lockdown. Yesterday, the Interagency Task Force protocols and guidelines on the implementation of community quarantine were released. We must read and follow them. Alright, time's up. The answer is new normal. Well done, guys! Now, let me help you make it more easy to connect to the text that you are reading in order for you to understand it more deeply and comprehensively.
There are 3 types of text connections that we need to consider in order for us to have a much deeper understanding of the text that we are reading. First one, text to self. This connection will help you to connect what you are reading to your own experiences or stock knowledge. This will help you to create personal connection to the text that you're reading. The more experiences you have, the more meaningful the connections that you will be able to make. For example, the second one, text to text. This connection will help you connect what you're reading to other texts that you have read or listened to in the past. You might relate how the books have the same author, characters, events, genre, or topic. This will help you connect a variety of concepts and make meaning out of it. A remarkable text-to-text connection is when you can apply what you've read from one text to another. For example, the third one, text to world. This connection will help you to connect what you are reading to real-life events, either past or present, on social issues, or other happenings in real world. It can be what you watch on TV, in movies, or other media. Effective text-to-world connection is when you can use what you have learned from those media to the text that you're currently reading. For example, there are 2 types of connections that we often encounter or create when we read. The first one is surface connections. What do you think will happen to this ping pong ball if I throw it into this tub of water? Will it sink or will it float? What do you think? Of course, it will just stay afloat. A ping pong ball is just a live object, so it cannot sink. It is just meant to stay on the surface of the water. The same analogy can be applied to surface connections. Surface connections are connections that are vague, general, shallow, and superficial. Yes, a reader might be able to remember the characters, the events, and other concepts that were mentioned in the text. But these are just expressed in a general statement. On the other hand, the second type of connection is deep connections. What do you think will happen if I throw this golf ball? If I throw it into this tub of water, will it sink or will it float? What do you think? Precisely. The golf ball will sink. It is a heavy object, so it will sink. The same thing can be applied to deep connections. Deep connections aim to understand the story beyond the lines and be able to infer the message of the author. Deep connections are achieved if the reader is able to extract the message that the author implies to the story, and also if he or she is able to apply it to real life. Now that our discussion is done, I believe that you are now ready to answer the learning activities I have prepared for you. So come on, let's get this adventure started. I have here 3 treasure chests, and each chest contains a learning task that you should accomplish successfully in order for you to earn 3 golden stars. The more treasure chests you accomplish successfully, the more golden stars you can earn. And at the end of the learning activities, you will be awarded with a medal that corresponds to the amount of the golden stars you have earned. Let us now open the first treasure chest. The first learning task is extract the theme of the texts and choose the letter of the correct answer. Read each item carefully, and I will give you 10 seconds each item. So, best of luck!
Water at the Naga. Water is important for you and me. Let us use it efficiently. We should not take it for granted, for all we know that it is limited. Alright, time's up. The correct answer is letter D. Crisis brought a lot of suffering to the world, and I am a sad witness. I feel sad for our frontliners because they can't have the support and compensation that they deserve. Alright, time's up. The answer is letter B. Why should we consider someone as beautiful or at a higher level just because their skin color is lighter than yours and mine? Can't we be treated the same even if we are 3 shades darker? Okay, time's up. The correct answer is letter D. I wish that everything would turn out better. No matter how much we suffer today, as well as the sacrifices we had to make, I wish that all of us survive this time and be happy in the near future. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is letter B. Life is too short to be afraid of trying just because we are scared to fail. We should spread our wings, fly, and reach the highest peak of our lives. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is letter A.
You did well, guys! And for that, these 3 golden stars are for you. Let us now open the second treasure chest. The second learning task is identify if each statement implies text to self, text to text, or text to world connections. Read each item carefully and I will give you 10 seconds each item, so go for it!
The story reminds me of my own experiences when I was in high school. I can relate to the main character because I have been there too. Oops, time's up. The correct answer is text to self. I have heard of the news about how deforestation causes damage to our planet, and in this book I learned that one of its major effects is the loss of habitat of the animals. Uh-oh, time's up. The correct answer is text to world. I have read another book written by the same author, and in this book, I can see that his style of writing is the same as the one I have read, but with different characters. Time's up! The correct answer is text to text. I saw a documentary about the advantages of veganism, and in this book, I learned that that kind of lifestyle is not only healthy for our body, but also beneficial for our environment. Alright, time's up! The correct answer is text to world. I remember my younger self in the main character when I used to play with my friends of any game we want and upsetting each other along the way, but managed to forgive each other in the end. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is text to self.
You did great, guys! And for that, I'll give you these 3 golden stars. Keep up the good work! Let us now open the 3rd treasure chest. The 3rd learning task is identify if each statement implies surface or deep connections. Let us now make this more challenging. I will give you just 8 seconds to accomplish each item, so read it carefully and understand it well. Do your best!
The story taught me that forgiveness does not always mean accepting them again, but freeing yourself from the pain to help you become a better person. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is deep connections. I also like watching sunset and sunrise. I like the color and the ambience when it is dusk and dawn. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is surface connections. Just like the main character, I also love pets. My favorite are dogs because they are so adorable and sweet. Alright, time's up. The correct answer is surface connections. The story made me realize that as much as we can, we should help one another. Compassion is a vital part to help us survive the most trying times. Beep beep, time's up. The correct answer is deep connections. I agree that love should not be forced. It is a natural, sweet feeling that may only get bitter if we insist. I believe that it is forever and even death cannot hinder the memories. Okay, time's up. The correct answer is deep connections.
Good job, guys! And for that, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3, keep it. And for that, I'll give you these 3 golden stars. Those who have earned 9 golden stars, you will be awarded with a gold medal. For those who have earned 6 golden stars, you will be awarded with a silver medal. And for those who have earned 3 golden stars, you will be awarded with a bronze medal. Seeing that you accomplished well our learning tasks, it really proves that you understand well our lesson for today.
To sum it all up, in today's discussion, you were able to identify the ideas presented in the text and draw generalizations and conclusions about the material read. I commend you all for a job well done. For the assignment, read the text Wake Up Woken Up by Jessa Lapuz and write your deep connections about it. Maximum of 10 sentences and write it on your notebook. This is the rubric that will be used to grade your work. You can take a screenshot of it if you would like. We are going to check it during our next session.
Before we wrap it up, let us now summarize what we have discussed for today. Again, what are the 3 text connections that we have discussed? Speak louder. Precisely! The 3 text connections are text to self, text to text, and text to world connections. Good job, guys! What about the 2 types of connections that we have discussed? I can't hear you. Speak louder. Great! That's correct. The 2 types of connections that we have discussed are surface and deep connections. You all did a marvelous job. So, clap for yourselves. Again, I'm Ma'am Laila, reminding you that you should not only know how to study, but you should also know how to enjoy it. Because true learning begins when you start to enjoy what you are doing. See you next class!